Alexander Isak and Liverpool deal is on hold in this moment, waiting for Newcastle to communicate. If Newcastle sign Benjamin Šeško, can be way easier for Liverpool to return to the table, bid and get Alexander Isak. Because if Sesko goes to Newcastle, for sure Liverpool will be back at the table and will bid again for Isak. Despite they told you they will not bid anymore. They will bid if Newcastle open the doors. But if Benjamin Šeško goes to Manchester United and Man United feel internally that he's waiting for them, well, in that case, obviously for Newcastle could be different. They will look for a new striker on the market, but to find a striker now, almost 23 days to the end of the transfer window, and to find him to replace a top player like Alexander Isak is not going to be something easy.
But Shearer's perspective is no individual is bigger than any football club. If he doesn't want to be there, fine, get what you can for him and say thank you very much for the memories, off you go. And I think Shearer's perspective is very much that they need to start going and prepare for this Premier League season, because we all know how difficult the window can be once the season is underway. Especially if the first few results don't go your way in the season, clubs become slightly more desperate to really address those deficiencies in your side. So to really conclude, Tom, not ideal for either party.
Newcastle won't sell Alexander Isak if they don't feel his valuations met, and crucially, if they don't have a replacement lined up. They take on Aston Villa in their first game of the Premier League season next weekend. Their current only fit striker they have is William Asula, who scored one Premier League goal.
Right, so they need a replacement on board. Will that replacement be Johan Wissa, Dharmesh?
This one has been quite an unsavoury episode throughout this transfer window. What we do know is that Brentford are expecting Johan Wissa to be training with them tomorrow. They had a day off yesterday, did the squad, because they had a pre-season friendly over the weekend, which Wissa was not involved in. One source, though, has told Sky Sports News that Wissa has got no intention of playing for Brentford again because he wants to move to Newcastle United. He wants both of these clubs to come together and finalise this move so he can get what he perceives to be a dream transfer.
As a whole, it certainly caught me by surprise. I think it caught a lot of people by surprise when Alexander Isak, when it came out that he did quite fancy a move. What did you make of it? How surprised were you?
I wasn't surprised. There's not many world-class number nines. That was rumbling on in the background last year, really, about different clubs. But the fee is the fee. I think you see the prices these days.
It seems fair, you know. I know it's a lot, but if Newcastle won £150 million, are you going to get better?
No, you're probably not going to get better.
That'll name your price.
But 150 million is a lot of money. I mean, if they did get Sesko and Wissa, for example, get the two of them and still have a bit of money left over, would be great business. But yeah, it doesn't look like the Sesko one's happening. So now it's even more important to keep Alexander Isak.
What about a word on Eddie Howe? Because how many years were you under Eddie Howe? It was quite a few.
Yeah, 6.5. Yeah,
6.5. So you know him well, and his man management from the outside is always praised. How hard is this going to be? How does he manage Alexander Isak right now?
Yeah, it's going to be really difficult. I mean, there's a lot of people in Isak's ear for sure. His head has definitely been turned. I mean, Liverpool, massive club. But like I say, I think there's definitely the player will know if Newcastle don't get a replacement, he's not going anywhere. And as soon as the season starts, he's going to have to get his head back in the game. And I'm sure he will. That's just how players are. They want to compete, they want to play. And ultimately, he has to play football. He's got 3 years left of his contract. Newcastle under no real pressure to sell him. I think once the season starts and the window closes, then he'll be fully back invested with Newcastle United.
And knowing
about RB Leipzig, aren't we, over the last few weeks? And they've made contact with Liverpool over a potential move for Harvey Elliott. Now, there are early stages, these talks, but Leipzig see Elliott as a potential replacement for Xavi Simons.
The future of Alexander Isak at Newcastle United is hanging in the balance, as the striker grows increasingly eager to push for a high-profile move to Liverpool this summer. Despite Newcastle publicly stating that Isak is not for sale, sources suggest the player has made his intentions clear and has taken proactive steps to manage his own future. He has missed Newcastle's preseason tour, officially due to a thigh issue, but has been training independently at Real Sociedad's facilities in Spain, a move interpreted by many as a signal that he is preparing for a potential exit. Liverpool, who are seeking a marquee forward to lead their new era under Arne Slot, made an informal approach worth around £110 million. Newcastle quickly dismissed the offer and have maintained that any serious bid would need to meet or exceed their valuation of around £150 million, especially as they remain under pressure to comply with the Premier League's Profit and Sustainability Rules, PSR. Newcastle's willingness to even entertain the idea of selling Isak has been heavily dependent on securing a top-tier replacement, and their prime target has been Benjamin Šeško of RB Leipzig. The Magpies have submitted a record-breaking offer believed to be in the region of £70 to £75 million, potentially rising beyond £78 million with performance-based add-ons. According to reports from Sweden's Aftonbladet, this bid has now crossed the 1 billion Swedish kronor mark, with bonuses alone making up nearly 100 million Swedish kronor. This offer is understood to be financially stronger than that of Manchester United, who are also pursuing Sesko aggressively. However, despite Newcastle putting forward the most lucrative package, Sesko is currently leaning toward a move to Old Trafford. Manchester United believe they are in a strong position to win the race due to the player's preference and long-term interest from the club, which poses a significant problem for Newcastle's transfer strategy. This development puts Newcastle in a precarious position. If they fail to land Sesko, they are highly unlikely to let Isak leave, regardless of Liverpool's interest or the player's wishes. The Magpies are unwilling to risk weakening their attack without a proven replacement already secured. Liverpool, aware of this, are reportedly considering revising their approach, possibly waiting to see if Newcastle's hand is forced later in the window. However, with Isak's growing frustration and willingness to take matters into his own hands, the situation could evolve quickly. For now, though, Sesko's final decision is the key. If he commits to Manchester United, Newcastle are expected to shut the door on any potential Isak exit, at least until January or next summer. Federico Chiesa's future at Liverpool appears increasingly uncertain as the Italian winger is now open to a move away from Anfield in search of regular playing time. After arriving from Juventus in the summer of 2024 for a fee in the region of 12 to 15 million euros, expectations were high for the 27-year-old, but his debut season was marred by injury setbacks and a struggle to adapt to the Premier League's physical intensity. Chiesa made only 14 appearances in total, with just 4 of those as starts, and failed to find consistent form, playing only 403 minutes in the league. While he has spoken positively about his time at Liverpool, stating in a June interview that he wouldn't mind staying in Liverpool at all, he was also candid about the need for regular minutes, especially with the 2026 FIFA World Cup looming on the horizon. The winger, still a key figure in the Italian national setup when fit, emphasized that he would sit down with Liverpool, his agent, and his family to assess the best path forward for his career. Liverpool, for their part, appear open to the idea of parting ways with Chiesa, whether temporarily or permanently. Under new head coach Arne Slot, Chiesa did not feature prominently in tactical plans and was not included in the 29-man squad for Liverpool's pre-season tour of Asia, widely interpreted as a sign that the club is prepared to facilitate his exit. Slot himself has publicly praised Chiesa's quality, acknowledging that he deserves more playing time, but with Mohamed Salah, Luis Diaz, Cody Gakpo, and others ahead of him in the pecking order, the Italian faces an uphill battle for minutes. As a result, several clubs in Serie A have taken notice, including AC Milan, AS Roma, Atlanta, and Napoli. AC Milan have reportedly submitted a formal loan proposal, with the aim of helping Chiesa rebuild his confidence and form, while Roma have long admired him and are reportedly monitoring his situation closely. Napoli and Liverpool have also been linked in speculation involving a blockbuster swap deal involving Victor Osimhen, Darwin Núñez, and Chiesa, though such rumors remain highly speculative and financially complex. At this stage, Chiesa seems poised for a return to Italy unless there's a dramatic change in circumstances at Liverpool. While he hasn't closed the door entirely on staying, all indications point toward a summer exit being the most likely scenario. Liverpool's pursuit of attacking reinforcements continues to evolve this summer, with reports now confirming that Rodrigo Goes of Real Madrid has emerged as a serious alternative target should their ambitious bid for Alexander Isak fall through. The Reds have been heavily engaged in negotiations for Isak, but Newcastle United's high asking price, believed to be well above £130 million, and the club's inability to secure a replacement like Benjamin Šeško have made the deal increasingly difficult. In the event that Liverpool are unable to push through with Isak, they have turned their attention to Rodrigo, who could provide both tactical versatility and star power. According to Fishages, AS, and several English outlets, Liverpool have initiated contact with Rodrigo's representatives and have also opened informal discussions with Real Madrid's board to gauge the feasibility of a transfer. While no official bid has yet been submitted, the Spanish club is reportedly open to negotiations if the offer approaches £86 to £87 million. This valuation reflects Rodrigo's status as a rotation player in Madrid's crowded attacking lineup, especially following the arrival of Kylian Mbappe and the emergence of Endrick and Arda Güler. Rodrigo, for his part, is said to be open to the move to Anfield, and sources close to the player confirm he has held a long-standing admiration for Liverpool. Interestingly, Liverpool had attempted to sign him from Santos when he was still a teenager, but the winger ultimately chose Real Madrid at the time. Now, with opportunities likely to diminish under Xabi Alonso in the upcoming season, Rodrigo is believed to be reassessing his future, especially if it means playing a more pivotal role elsewhere. The departure of Luis Diaz to Bayern Munich for a reported €75 million has further opened up space in Liverpool's left-sided attack, and Rodrigo's ability to operate on both flanks makes him an appealing option under Arne Slot, who favors dynamic, press-resistant forwards. Despite Real Madrid's reluctance to lose depth in their squad, they are expected to meet with Rodrigo in the coming days to discuss his role and potential transfer options. Should Rodrigo indicate a willingness to leave, and should Liverpool fail to progress with Isak, a formal offer may follow swiftly.